Hi, everybody. Happy Monday, and welcome to day one of 3 days to become a self care queen. I am so happy to be here with all of you, whoever is going to be joining live or whoever is going to be watching the replay. Whether you are in the live or the replay, I would love to learn a little bit about you, where you're tuning in from. Let me know what made you register for this training, what caught your attention, what is the thing that said, I need to register for this self-care queen training. Sometimes it happens that there's a phase in your life that you stop taking care of yourself as you used to. Sometimes there's stress involved, or the birth of a kid, or a new job, or a divorce, or a move, or whatever the case might be. I want to know, what is it that had you register for 3 steps to become a self-care queen, because usually that is where the most value you're going to receive is at. And today we're going to talk about a lot about the impact of not taking care of yourself and what can happen in our life when we leave ourselves behind and relegate our self-care for taking care of everybody else. And so I want to know, what is the thing that made you go, I need to be on that training. I would love to learn some tips or tricks, things that I can do to start coming back to myself, my self-care, prioritizing how I feel and all the things that we need to in order to give ourselves and the best of ourselves to other people and all the responsibilities we have going on. Let me go ahead and take a minute here to tag this live to the top. I tagged everybody, and I hope that you are able to find the training. I will also tag it at the very top of the group. So if people are joining later, then they're able to just being able to gather it from there. So it's going to be pinned to the top of the group. And now that I have it there, I know that if you go to the group and refresh your screen, if you haven't encountered the video, you'll be able to find me at the very top. All these videos will stay in the group. I will put a post where I can put day 1, day 2, day 3. But if you put day 1, you should be able to find it if you do the little magnifying glass inside of the group. And they will remain here and at least until the end of the week, so that you can watch the replays if you have missed the live, and you can go back if you want to do something out of that again. And so I want to welcome you officially to 3 days to become a self-care queen. If you're just joining me, let me know where you're joining from. I would love to know at least one thing: that how do you register for this training? What caught your attention? What made you say, I need to be there? And we're going to get to know each other a little bit more. But I will take a minute just to introduce myself for the people that never took a training with me, or that are new to the group, or just found me somewhere on Facebook, or a friend recommended you to come here. I will share a little bit about me, and as days go by, I will also share a little bit more that pertains more to the training and the particular topics that I'm going to be sharing. But as a formal introduction, my name is Natalia Schifini. I'm originally from Argentina. I was born and raised there. Until the age of 19, I was raised in Argentina, and at the age of 19, I finished my studies. Hospitality management is what I've studied, and I moved to United States to be able to study for 3 months before I went into internships. I had the opportunity to work with a few of the most prestigious hotels in the country and in the world as well. My first job here in United States was at the Washington, D.C. Intercontinental, which is a block away from the White House. I was the person at the front desk greeting people. It was a very demanding job, but I loved being there. It was just an opportunity for me to be in one of the most well-known hotels in the country, for sure, but even around the world. And a lot of the presidents stay there. That's where the word lobby comes from. One of the famous drinks is the mint julep, which was invented in that round robin bar right there. And so it was just a great opportunity for me to come to United States. I got trained on the top of the line, kind of service oriented, and I love doing that. And so after a few years of being there, I kept on getting promoted and having opportunities to be a supervisor. And as my title increased, my pay diminished, and I had more hours of work and long weekends and back-to-back shifts and no holidays, and my work kept on taking over my life. And so I decided I no longer wanted to create a career in hospitality. And my second biggest passion when I was growing up was sports and movement in general. And so I decided to become a personal trainer. And so in 2001, I became a personal trainer. I got trained by one of the best United States recognized organizations. And I worked as a personal trainer for many years. That's, as a matter of fact, how I met my husband, and he's also a personal trainer. He works for full time from home as a personal trainer virtually, and that's what we do for a living. And so I love doing this. I also have many other certifications. I can make a long list of them. So personal trainer, wellness coach, yoga instructor, life coach, hypnotherapist, neurolinguistic program practitioner, and hands-on healer. I think I didn't miss any of them. I think I got them all. But it's a long list of, accolades that just say that I've been in the world of personal growth and transformation for a long time. And it started in the world of wellness and fitness in 2001. For the last 20 some years, 24, 5 years at this point, I've been mostly immersed in the world of wellness, fitness, personal growth, and transformation, helping individuals of all backgrounds and ages improve their life, whether it is physically, mentally, emotionally, career-wise, whatever it is, financially, whatever it is that they want to improve. I've been trained and I have a lot of experience in making a difference with people in any of those areas. And I take a lot of pride, and I feel this an honor for me to be able to make a living with what I do. And I feel extremely honored to have a natural gift to be able to listen to people bigger than they are so that they can expand into that capacity. And so, inside of all the training that I have, what I love the most is improving women's health. And that includes the mental aspect of it, as well as, finding a purpose, something that you do, that you love, that brings you joy, that makes you feel fulfilled, engaged, powerful, an agent of change in society. And so a lot of the work that I do is a combination of wellness, purpose, prosperity, and anything that is a combination of those things that make us happy, that make us feel empowered, that make us feel purposeful in our life. And we get that sense of being able to make a difference in the world. But mostly the difference that needs to be made is with ourselves. And that's where this particular topic of self-care is related with everything that I've shared up until now. Personally, being somebody who's out there, a natural leader, somebody who wants to make a difference, committed to it, doing everything that she can to get prepared, to be in position, to be in opportunities where I was able to make a difference. The tendency for me was always to leave my self-care behind. And I went through very different, many cycles of kind of falling in my face, flat on my face, basically, either a verge of burnout and or physical ailments that show up as a function of stress or being spread thin or going a little bit too far and too deep into doing too many things at the same time. I tend to thrive in an environment where I'm multitask, when I'm making a lot of things happen at the same time, but it could go a little bit on the edge of not being able to balance my personal life with my professional life. And usually what happens is self-care is faltering. Self-care is non-existent. It falls out of the sideway. It's not really my priority. Maybe I do it, but I'm not doing it consistently. And so what came about for me in working with clients and the following that I have in the groups and being online is a lot of women and a lot of people in general are either on the verge of burnout or already there. And it's a function of being a heart-centered, compassionate person that is out in the world to make a difference with a big commitment, with a big desire, with a big dream, and that vision will become a reality. But the world is a very intense place. Right now, I think I don't have to even say what has been going on, what we've been experiencing, the grief, the anxiety, the uncertainty, the anger, the resentment, all the things that people are experiencing, not just one person, not just a group of people. I think humanity as a whole is going through a process of grieving and dealing with intense energies and feeling overwhelmed and hopeless at time, or really tired, and whatever the case might be, just know that I understand where you are, that we all have this own share of human emotions that we navigate. Sometimes we're up here and sometimes we're down here. And thankfully, we have a community of people that we can come, that we are able to share with. I'm hoping to make this particular space where we're in a safe space where you can share, where you can be participating, where you can tell us what it's been like to do the homework, the things that showed up, the things that triggered you, the things that you want to transform, the things that you're out to accomplish. This is a safe space for all of you, and nobody that is outside of the group is able to see. So none of your friends can see, nobody outside of the group will be able to see. There's only 25 people here. It's a small group, only women, and everybody's been registered. I have their email, their phone number, their name, and they are participants in this particular training. So I am saying that so that we can make a collective commitment to keep whatever is discussed here, whatever is shared here, whatever is expressed here in this safe container that I will do my best to hold sacred and safe for all of you. So feel free to share, to ask questions, to kind of pose a question for the participants, to share a struggle, to ask for support, whatever the case might be, because it's a safe space that I will make sure it is so. And if anybody crosses the line of respect or boundaries, I will be the first one to address that concern with them, because that is not what we're. It's a safe space for all of you. And so let's go into a few of the housekeeping things that I want to share with you. The group is where we're going to have the trainings. Trainings are going to happen between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. It all depends on the amount of material we're going to cover, the level of interactions, the questions you have, anything you share, anything you request for me to go over. But I have a homework manual, and it basically has all the material that we're going to go over and the homework that you're going to go over as well. And so I invite you to print this out. If you didn't print it out for today, it's not the end of the world, but this is going to be a good resource for you to go back to keep as a memory, and or to make a declaration, commitments, and notes of things that you find out, notes about the training, whatever the case might be. And it's something you can revisit later. And so we're going to go into a couple of the things that I want to share. This is going to be the homework or work we're going to start doing today, and I'm going to let you continue. It's called the Holistic Wheel, and it's going to be an opportunity for you to assess your life, where you are, and how you feel that self-care is playing a role or maybe not playing a role in your life at this time. And we're going to go over making sure that that is something that you add on, kind of like a recipe ingredient. And so the things that I want to make a distinction, this is not for me to share information as much as for you to cause a transformation. Intellectual knowledge, knowing it in my head, is not going to make a difference. So what is going to be required of you is to engage, to be present, to let things in with your heart open, not resisting, not fighting me back. Know that I have a deep commitment that this makes a difference, and that you cause a transformation for you, for yourself, for your life moving forward. So open up your heart and be open to listen with big ears and a lot of self-compassion and tolerance with yourself and other people here, including me, if I say something that I might trigger you with. Because my biggest commitment is that out of these 3 days, you're going to have a sense of awareness, you're going to have a commitment to transform, and you're going to have some tools that you're going to be able to start this transformational process. But I know for a fact that 3 days will not make a dent in your life to the point that you're going to be transformed. And some of you might have a need, a request, or might appreciate having somebody who to hold your hand, to hold you accountable, to keep on supporting you in the process of transformation. So towards the end of this training, I will definitely make sure that I share with you ways that you can work with me long term. And I hope that you don't mind that. And if there's something that it doesn't resonate with you, then you just let me share and move on to keep on enjoying the training. I'm committed that this makes a difference, whether you continue working with me or not, or long term. And that if you need anything throughout the next 3 days, I am available for you to hold space, to listen, to share, empower, to whatever it is that you need over the next 3 days, because I am committed that I will make that difference with you. So let's go right into the material. I share a little bit about me, a little bit on why I'm offering this particular training. I haven't offered this training in a couple of years, so if you haven't been around, just know that this training has been offered before, but it's been a while. So we're bringing back one of the goodies trainings. So let's go right into the material for today. The material for today, the most important thing we're going to do is the holistic wheel. Okay, so I think it's page number, let me see, it's page number 2. First is the manual cover, and then the second one we say the wellness wheel. I'm going to read out loud. It's a little bit blurry, but you should be able to see enough to make out what it is. I did not have a better picture, and I did want that particular exercise to be a part of this training, so that is what's so. Okay, so the wellness wheel. The wellness wheel, on a scale from 1 to 10, choose where you feel you currently are for each category. The outer edge of the circle represents a 10, and the center of the circle represents a 1. So place a dot to signify your current position in each category from 1 to 10 scale. When your dots are complete, connect the dots around the circle. Okay? This will help you show any imbalances in the areas of your life you need to focus on improving so that the circle is more balanced. So if you think of balance in your life, think of all areas having like the same of level of satisfaction, coherence, and empowerment, enjoyment. And when it says from 1 to 10, is for every single one of these categories except for stress. We want stress to be the lowest, while we want everything else, all the other categories, to be the highest. And so let's take a moment and just look at the categories that I wrote. And if you see there's a category that either doesn't resonate or it doesn't pertain to you, or it doesn't feel like it's a priority for you, and there's something else that it should go in that place instead of the category that I put there as an example, feel free to scratch the category. Or if you're using notes or a piece of paper, I would recommend that you do a little circle and you divide into 8 little categories, and you create the categories based on your desire in your life, your personal style, and whatever you deal with. Okay, but the categories that I put were random and simply an example. Do not feel in any way confined by those. Feel free to change, scratch, substitute, eliminate, increase, whatever the case might be, if you find that there's more areas of life. The whole point is to assess where we are in the level of satisfaction. Okay, so the first one is healthy habits, and this is a self-care program, and so healthy habits is going to be important. How do you eat? How do you sleep? Do you move your body? How do you feel mentally? What is your level of satisfaction? What is the level of peace of mind that you have? All those things are going to be the healthy habits. If you have any other healthy habits that are important to you, then just make sure that you add it in the description or the definition of that one. But those are the ones that come to mind when I think of healthy habits. Then we're going to go to the right. There is stress. We talked about stress should be the lowest out of all as a goal. So while every other one, healthy habits, you want it to be somewhere between 9, 10, ideally, and the best, right? Highest level, we want stress to be the lowest. So that's the only one we want to be in a lower grade, closer to the center versus being on the outside with a high category or level. And so stress is the next one. After that, we have sleep. What is the quality of sleep? Are you a good sleeper? Do you sleep deeply? Do you manage to sleep from the moment you go to bed until you wake up? Do you wake up many times a night? Are you the kind of person that needs to go to the bathroom a few times a day or a night, and you wake up many times? You feel like your sleep is interrupted. What is the quality of your sleep? There's something to say about the quality of sleep, and it's completely overlooked many times. But if you are a brand new mom, or if you're a woman going through menopause, you know for a fact that sleep is so important, because the lack of sleep is leaving you many times in a place where you are either overwhelmed, irritable. Sometimes hormones go off balance because of that. The hormone cortisol is something that is pumping constantly when you're stressed out. And so that starts getting all your other hormones out of balance. But we just tend to overlook how sleep affects our mood, our focus, our level of satisfaction, our energy levels, the way we perform, our outcomes all together. And so assess your sleep and really make a link on how you feel throughout the day has a direct correlation with the level of satisfaction and the level of performance that you achieve. And when you're sleeping poorly, that is not going to be conducive to you having a higher level of performance. Then we go to connection. When you think of connection with significant others, kids, pets. Maybe you live with your pets and you have no people you live with and you're not in constant connection. Think of the community, your neighbors, the people you deal with on a regular basis when you go to the store, when you go around in town, when you do your errands, run your errands, whatever it is. Connections with people, with animals, with friends, with communities, with other people that you get in contact with. What are the level of interactions that you have? Are there things that leave you satisfied? Do you feel like something is missing? Scared or uncomfortable or nervous or anxious or depressed regarding specifically relationships? How do you feel? We're going to just scale 1 to 10 and put the level, right? Now we're putting little dots. So 0 is at the very center of the circle, and to the outside, you're going to have from 1 to 10. So gauge where you fall from 1 to 10 for healthy habits, stress, sleep, and connections so far, and start putting the little dots. If you have not printed out the material, grab a piece of paper, draw a circle, divide it into 8 slices like a pizza, write a theme for each one that you choose, and put the dot. Let's not complicate things. Don't worry if you didn't print out the material. Many times women come to the training and they're stressing because material, they don't have it or they didn't print it or whatever. It doesn't matter. Piece of paper would do, okay? And then going down to the levels or the categories, the next one is mindset. So how do you feel throughout the day? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel in a good mood? Are you optimistic? Do you feel hopeful? You have a high level of caliber and or confidence in yourself, or do you feel like that's more of a lower grade? Do you feel that you're hopeful with things? Are you adamant about things are going to work out? Or you feel like your mindset is gloomy, it's more negative, it's less hopeful, it's not impossibility, but always worried or afraid? What is the nature of your mindset? And I give you the two extremes so that you can sense where you are. And think of 1 to 10. Do you fall more on the upper side, optimistic, positive, or you feel like it's more gloomier, darker, depending on what you're going through, depending on the situation that you are? Really assess yourself, your life, where you are right now. Be as realistic and honest, but also compassionate and curious. You don't want to make yourself wrong or beat yourself up because it's not going to be conducive to change or transformation. So be grateful that you get to see this and also be graceful. Be gentle with yourself. Do not make yourself wrong. We're going to go to the next one, which is meal planning. And so we all know nutrition is important, not just diet, right? Like we don't think of diet as, oh, I gotta lose weight, I'm too fat or whatever. Women are always worried about that. I know all too well because I did that weight loss coaching for a few years, and that's all we talk about. We gotta lose 10 pounds, you gotta blah, 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 blah. I don't fit on my pants. I don't like how my clothes look or whatever the case might be. I'm not talking about that kind of meal planning. I'm talking about eating in a way that you're nourished, in a way that you're feeding your body and your brain so you can function better, you perform higher, and the outcome is conducive because your performance is going to be conducive because you're eating and giving yourself the nutrition that your brain and your body is needing. Okay, so we're not thinking of dying to lose weight, we're thinking of nutritious food that nourish your body so you can feel good, so you can function better, you can perform at a higher level. And really assess from that perspective, where are you at? From 1 to 10, where are you at? Are you the kind of person that calls on the phone and asks for food to be delivered every day, spending a lot of money and little time, and or dedicating yourself to be able to make the food from scratch? Or are you the kind of person that meal preps every week and you do the best and most nutritious food every week? You plan in advance and you kind of have a high standard on how you eat. How is it? Just assess yourself inside of that meal planning. And then we have two more categories. The next one is movement. And so, are you somebody who likes to move? What kind of movement do you like? Is it walking? Is it swimming? Is it riding the bike? Is it jumping ropes? Is it working out with weights? Is it yoga? Is it dancing? What is it that you like to do? Usually there's at least one thing that we enjoy, even if it's not the most common thing. Some of us don't like the exercise at all. Some people absolutely hate movement. And so we want to see where we are as far as our level of enjoyment. I know that I work out with women on a regular basis. Um, with movement and exercise, and we have the whole range of things. Some people that like it but sometimes are lazy, some people that don't like it, some people that hate it. And so where are you in regards to that? And what is the activity that you enjoy? If you find that is something pleasant for you, what is the thing that you enjoy? Is it related with water, walking, jumping, working out with weights, doing yoga? What is it that you enjoy? Dancing? Just tell me what it is. I would love for you guys to be active in the chat as you're doing the exercise so that everybody can see how much we have in common and relate to each other, get to know each other, see who other people are in the group as well. There's going to be 25 of you for now, maybe a few more days. We have a few more people join, but it will be around that much. It won't grow that much by this time. All right, so movement was the one that we finished. And let's talk about the last one, self-love. Yeah, let's be honest here, but not be hard on ourselves. I know from working with women specifically that we tend to love everybody. And I'm not saying everybody, right? Sometimes we have people that we don't necessarily like that are individuals, but as a whole, we are heart-centered. We like to make a difference and we like to be in community. We're social beings as a general rule. If you are in this group, you've probably been called by the energy that I carry and who I am. And so most likely you have some characteristics, but it doesn't necessarily need to be the same exact thing. And so what I know to be true for women is that a lot of us have a struggle of loving ourselves. And that translates into lack of self-care, not feeling worthy, not putting boundaries in place, and or saying yes when we mean no, or overextend ourselves. And I know this all too well because I used to be that way. And I had to change a lot of things and transform a lot of things to be able to put this self-care in place as a priority. Because if I left myself without paying attention to what the tendencies were, it was easier to be out there making a difference than making a difference in my life. And I will share a little bit later on what the impact was in my life when I wasn't able to put that self-care in place and or balance my personal needs versus my professional needs and my desire to make a difference, leaving me in a place of dealing with consequences. So I'll share with you about that. But I want you to assess yourself from a place of honesty, compassion, appreciation, patience, being gentle, and being curious. I don't want you to beat yourself up, but I want you to be honest. Okay. So where are you at as far as self-love is concerned? Were you between 1 and 3? Were you between 3 and 6? Were you between 6 and 9? Or you are absolute 10? I want you to be really honest with that and give yourself some compassion, some room to be honest, to really assess and notice and call yourself out if you have to. Not making yourself wrong, but really committed to transforming that. if you notice that you are between the 0 and the 3, you probably struggle with your own share of struggles related with self-care because you haven't been your own priority, because you have been distracted, because you've been catering to others or people pleasing, or you didn't feel like you were worth it, or whatever the case might be. 3 to 6, maybe you have some self-care, but you tend to get distracted or not make it a consistent thing. 6 to 9, you probably are consistent with it. You're not perfect. Sometimes it's not in place, but for the most part, you tend to come back to that self-care because you have a high level of appreciation and self-love that allows you to have that direct correlationship with the level of self-care. And if you're an absolute 10, you might even fall or err on the other side of I love myself, me, myself, and I. Sometimes we actually have a little bit of lack of um, how would he say? We are not aware of other people's or other things going on. We're just focusing on ourselves, and we might just overlook certain things. And so, if you're really focused on your self care and you have a level 10 of self love, sometimes some things that are happening on the environment in the immediate vicinity might be things that you overlook because you're not really focused on everything and everybody, but you're more focused on you, making sure that you are taken care of, that you got what you need, that you are in a place of being empowered and happy and taken care of, and you're not so focused on the outside, on the pulls of people's requests, expectations, or whatever the case might be. But we want to be somewhere between, I would say, 7 and 10 would be an ideal place to be. And if we can have that compassion while we are at a level 10 of self-love and be aware of other people that might be suffering and lend our heart to be compassionate about those things without letting go of our self-care and the love for ourselves, that would be an ideal balanced place to be. But the truth is, a lot of us are not in that place of 10 and struggle with that boundary, with that um, taking care of me and taking care of others. Sometimes we err on the side of taking care of everybody and not taking care of ourselves. Sometimes we go 50-50 and we don't really prioritize ourselves as much as we could, but it's not hurting. And sometimes we are like 80% taking care of everybody else and 20% of ourselves. And we are in a place of minus in our bank account, like we're withdrawn, right? We're in that burnout and exhaustion place. And so this is an invitation to start bringing up the level of self-love and self-care. And we've been doing all last week that meditation for self-love and self-care because it brings you back to the center. It brings you back to ground yourself, feel at peace, be present, slow down, connect, and getting out of the rat race and the mind racing all the time. And so one of the homeworks that we're going to have for today is going back to find the meditation from last week, meditation for self-love and self-care. I recommend you go for yesterday, which was day 22 of February. So 222, beautiful day. It's a portal day, beautiful, powerful energy was coming through. And we did a meditation at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So it's saved in the group. Just look for meditation and look for February 22nd. And I'm going to invite you to take yourself through the meditation. It's about 10 minutes. It's not that long, but sit and actually do the meditation if you haven't, and do the meditation if you have. So if you haven't done it before, it will be your first time. If you have done it before, it will be doing it as a repeat. It's part of the homework for today. And I'm hoping that you can settle into a place of enjoying that, getting used to slowing yourself down, bringing yourself to be present, 100% of aware in your space, and find the place of peace, quiet, groundness, happy sensation that will be available for you when you take yourself through the meditation. So I'm going right into the homework, and part of that is not going to be 100% homework. I want you to go more into depth because we're going to be discussing it. But I do want to kind of make some points that are related with the homework that are important for us to notice. The first one was the self-care meditation. I will leave it up to you to do it anytime tomorrow. Come to the group, go to the magnifying glass, put meditation or self-care and self-love Look for February 22nd, whatever way you want, or go down the timeline and you will see the different days. The one in Sunday, I think, is the one that was pretty clean, pretty simple, and not that long so that you can follow. But any of them will work, and I'll leave it up to you to choose which one that you're going to redo. Okay. Let's go to point number 2 for the homework. I want us to do this together, and as we do it, and then maybe you can share a little bit in the chat. If you're here, you can do it while you're live. If you're in the replay, please feel free to share in the replay. And that could also count as your homework, because it's the kind of homework that I'm going to ask you to go and identify. Okay, so identify what are the lowest areas in your wheel and write them down. And we talked about stress should be lower rather than higher. So you just want to keep that into account, right? So identify what are the lowest area in your wheel and write them down. I want you to do the highest and the lowest, because some of them are going to be the highest and some of them are going to be the lowest based on the stress distinction that we had. So we want to identify what are the ones that you need to work on, basically, right? Where the lowest level of satisfaction or performance are in. And I want you to highlight or underline or make a circle on it or put some pointing, whatever you want to do, but make sure you identify what those areas are and share with us to the extent that you feel comfortable. Maybe you can put it here in the comment section. Maybe you can put it when I place the homework in the group, wherever you want to, but share with us what you notice those areas are. I can tell you, for me, movement hasn't been great, but I just joined a gym so that I can make it consistent. Connection hasn't been all that great in the last few weeks, I would say, because I've been really focused on work and the things that I want to create. So it's not that I've been enjoying and having a good time and traveling or anything else. The month of December was a month with higher connections because I was traveling, I was on vacation, I was getting to know places and people. So really notice what is going on in your life right now. I'm giving you some examples so that it helps you kind of connect the dots on how we want this to be done. And now let's go into point number 3. Point number 3 for the homework is notice what is missing in the areas that are lowest level of satisfaction and or performance or joy. And notice what is missing, that if it were to be present, it will make a difference. It will inspire you. It will get you going. It will get you back in the court, right? If you're playing a game and you're in the court, you're playing the game 100%, right? So back in the court of your life, basically in action with things. And so what is it that is missing? Is it motivation? Is it clarity? Is it consistency? Is it dedication? Is it discipline? Is it taking a risk? Is it time? What is it that is missing that if you were to have in that particular area of your life, maybe let's say you're talking about you don't move enough, right? You're not going to the gym, or you're not taking time to walk in your neighborhood, or maybe you jump or you get on the treadmill at home, whatever the case might be, but you haven't been able to do that. Then what is missing in that area? Maybe it's motivation, maybe it's dedication, maybe it's commitment, maybe it's time. What is missing that if it were to be present, it will make a difference? And identify what that is, because that is important for us to notice so we can transform that. So you can give up, doing the same things over and over again as a definition of insanity, as we might have heard. And we can start transforming areas, doing different things about it. So what is missing in that area that if it were to be present, it would make a difference, inspire you, get you back in the court, and or, empower you. Yeah. And then the last 2 questions might be a little bit something we can discuss, but I'm going to ask you to write it like a journal prompt. Maybe go a little more in depth, okay? They're questions that if you were to be honest and you're in this training, it might be a little bit stingy. It might be a little uncomfortable to think about. But once again, as I said before, is be compassionate, be curious, and be tolerant with yourself. Don't make yourself wrong or beat yourself up because that gets you stuck. Okay. So, what has been the impact of not making self-care a priority? What has been the impact of not making self-care a priority? And tell me what that is for you if you are able to share in the comment section as the live is going on, or as you come back for the homework, or as you watch the replay, whenever that is. I want to know what has been the impact in your life of not making your self-care a priority. And as you're thinking about that, and you might be sharing here, or you're pondering and writing or brainstorming, I'm going to share a little bit of a story that's true in my life. It's just my testimony of what happened when I stopped taking care of myself and I had a big workload and a lot of responsibility. As I started my business in 2020, I had a big commitment to make a difference in the lives of women. I always work with women online in the virtual space. My clients are women. I like working with women. I tend to attract women that like to work with me. So it hasn't been a question. I think I had a few clients here and there that were males in the last few years in physical training, but I don't tend to promote and I don't tend to attract a lot of men. It doesn't mean that I don't like working with them. I just prefer to work with women. I feel safer and more vulnerable and able to make a difference because I understand the struggles and the challenges that women face being one myself. And so I really enjoy it. Um, and so I want to know specifically for you, what has been the impact? Because for me, in the last 3 years, I had a moment of truth. And the moment of truth is when, after being a wellness coach for a few years and being somebody who helped women with weight loss and having lost 44 pounds myself, I found myself being diagnosed with pre-diabetes. And so when the doctor told me the diagnosis was borderline pre-diabetic, it wasn't yet at that level of concern, but pre-diabetic is 5.3 AC, I think it is, until 5.7, and I was just like right there on the verge of being pre-diabetic. And so the doctor told me I needed to lower my level of A1C. And, being that I'm an expert in the field, being that I have done everything to lose the weight, it came as a surprise for me that I was diagnosed with borderline diabetic. And I started looking at my lifestyle habits and I started looking at the way that I was taking care of myself and the levels of stress and how much I was doing and how I was taking care of myself versus catering to everything else that I had on my plate. And so what became really clear is that as I kept on growing my business had taken a priority over my self-care. And it's very common for business women, for entrepreneurs specifically, to go through that issue. Why? Because in order for a business to have that momentum, that synergy, we are the motors. So we become kind of committed to that and we forget the process of taking care of ourselves. And many times, even when we are successful, because we started with a lot of umph and a lot of energy, we can continue with that tendency of overdoing and exerting ourselves too much and not doing enough of the self-care. And so for me, it was a clear moment where I said, ooh, time to slow down. I started walking every day. I would do 2 miles a day. I started eating much better, started drinking more water, started eating vegetables again. So weight loss was not longer a concern. I had lost a lot of weight prior to that diagnosis, and it could possibly be a consequence of the years where I was overweight. But basically, it was a big moment of truth where I had to humble myself and really acknowledge that I wasn't taking care of myself the way I needed to in order to be impactful and high in my level of performance, as well as being able to take care of myself at the same time. That balance for me is key. When I start faltering or getting drained or overwhelmed or feeling like I'm sinking like a boat, it usually has to do with I left my self-care behind. And that's why I'm so motivated to offer this kind of training. And so, what has been the impact for you in not taking care of yourself? I share with you that weight gain was one, the other one was being diagnosed pre-diabetic. And so, what is for you? Is it like high levels of stress? I know at least one of the participants share with me anxiety, depression, introspection, not wanting to deal with people, being more of in a place of more of healing, isolation. What has been the impact for you? Some of you might be experiencing other things, right? Diagnosis, situations, stress from the outside. What is the impact in you, in your life, in your personal situation, in your journey? What has been the impact of you not making yourself a priority, abandoning yourself, leaving yourself aside, forgetting, not being consistent, not being disciplined? And own that, right? Like take 100% responsibility of like, I am not somebody who takes care of herself that well sometimes. Doesn't mean anything about you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing inherently bad about you. But owning up to the fact that you are not good, quote unquote, at taking care of yourself, or that is something that is a challenge, or you're not consistent, or you're not disciplined, or whatever the case might be, when you own up to that, when you call the truth and say what is so, then you can free yourself up from trying to pretend that that is not true. We try to hide it from ourselves. And it's obvious to everybody else, but sometimes we try to hide it from ourselves. We become a little bit in denial that, we're not taking care of ourselves because we don't want to do anything about it, right? And so we go into procrastination mode. We resist doing something. We act like we don't have time or it's not a priority for ourselves. We don't make it a priority. So what has been the impact on that particular behavior in your life? That's what I want to hear. I share with you what it's been for me, for other people that I worked with in the past. Divorces, situations with hoarding, emotional well-being has become an issue. People failing their business, their marriage, their relationships with significant others or kids, colleagues, situations at work become issues. And why? Because if we're not happy with ourselves and we're not taking care of ourselves and we're not balancing our personal life, our professional life, and fun and play, then when we get out of balance, then what happens is we start being people that are not happy. As simple as I can say is that we're not happy, we're not fulfilled, we're not purposeful in our life. We feel like something is missing. Sometimes we start complaining or blaming other people or feel like, I'm not really 100% fulfilled. We're looking for the next thing or waiting for the next thing, projecting things onto people, expecting people to do certain things for ourselves. And so when I say take 100% responsibility, it comes from a place of commitment to transform the way it's been for you. If you have given your power away to situations, to people, to expectations, to standards or roles in society, being a woman that we are. Because as women, we have a lot of expectation from people, roles to fulfill, things that are expected of us, and then there's certain molds that we fall into. A woman is meant to do X, Y, Z. To the extent that you're following what the society says or not, it's a personal choice and or a matter of your story, your personal situation or journey. But the truth is there's a lot of standards that we tend to abide and or be educated to abide and or conform to. And so really being able to take care of ourselves sometimes is something that we feel is not appropriate. We feel selfish. We feel that if we were to take care of ourselves, we cannot do this thing that we're expected to do. And that's where we get entangled with ourselves because we stop taking care of ourselves and we become a version of ourselves that is not the best. And we might start giving from a place of exhaustion, obligation, resentment, obligation, and feeling like somebody has to do something, so it has to be me. obligation from that place of like, I have no escape. I'm a victim of this circumstance. And then we resent it, or we blame, or we're unhappy, or we feel stuck, or whatever the case might be. And it doesn't have to be that way. When we develop that level of self love and we start putting ourselves as a priority, as a matter of self care, then we can shift all that reality and be the motor of changing that dynamic, transforming that dynamic in a way that people start responding to the way that we are. But to the extent that we leave ourselves behind and prioritize everybody else and everybody else's needs and expectations, and we keep on lingering in the back and forgetting about ourselves, we're never going to have that level of fulfillment and happiness and success that we're looking for. That's what we're coming back to the root of this. I know that all too well because, as I share with you, fell flat on my face a couple of times, and every time it took me going back to the basic concept of self-care, establish a routine that's consistent, and maybe withdrawing from doing so much for others, and then finding my balance again to be out there again and constantly monitoring how much of that is given out and how much of it is this energy that I need is actually pour onto my life, right? Meditation, prayer, movement, fun, all those things are important for me as well as for everybody else. So keeping that balance, making that a priority is key. And that's what I want you to be honest about today and really get to the bottom, the truth of it, own up to it, be 100% responsible. But that doesn't mean beating ourselves up or making yourself wrong. It means owning it 100%. Be responsible for it and then releasing that significance or density from that realization. Because there's nothing wrong with you. All of us do the same. We all have a tendency. And if you're here in this group, most likely you do have a tendency of doing that. Otherwise, this training would not have called your attention. So let's go into the last question. And I'm going to leave these last two questions for you guys to share a little bit more in length to the extent that you feel comfortable in this group. What the question is where are you at in making a commitment to transform and making self-care a priority for you, for your life? Where are you at as far as making your commitment to transform and making self-care a priority from 1 to 10? I think that was one of the questions of joining the group. If you join the group, I think that was one of the questions. I'm pretty sure. But I want you to tell me from 1 to 10, where are you at? What's your level of commitment? And it's okay if it's at a 1 now because it's day 1. Hopefully, as we go by, your level will go up as well. But if it's at a 1 or a 2, just be honest. Be okay with that. I'm okay with that. I hope you're okay too. But be honest, right? Where are you at, honestly, in making a commitment to transform and make self-care a priority for yourself? Without feeling bad, without beating yourself up, without feeling like it's selfish or any of that. Where are you at with making a commitment to transform and making self-care a priority? Um, yes, I think that's all I have for you today. I'm going to share a couple of things though. The first thing is I have a self-care checklist that I put together and I have it ready to go and be sent out. I'm going to send it by messenger. And I'm going to send it to the people that do the homework. That's going to be the price. Yeah. So if you want a little checklist that you can either print out or keep in your wallet or in your office or in your computer or in your bag or wherever you want as a reminder, or in your fridge as a reminder of the things that you need to do a routine of self-care, maybe as a practice so that you can become more consistent with it, as a reminder, as a structure, as a schedule, whatever way you want to use it. It's a list of self-care activities that you want to make sure you have in place to start prioritizing yourself, your self-care, your self-love, and all the things that we've been talking about today. So if you do the homework, I will send that out to your inbox. If you want it, go ahead and post your homework. Share to the extent that you feel comfortable. Nobody's forcing you to do more than you feel comfortable with. I am committed that everybody's safe and comfortable sharing here, and nobody's going to make you wrong or criticize you. Everybody should be focused on their own work and their own transformation. But really be honest. be honest for yourself. This is for you. More than me, this homework is for you. I'm leading, I'm actually proposing, but truly the homework is for you. It's not for me. I make you do it because I know it's valuable for you, and that's going to be rewarded. How? By getting that little checklist in the inbox of your messenger. I also have sent every single one of you a message in Messenger. Make sure you add me as a friend so I can communicate with you over the next few days. If you don't have me as a friend, I probably tried to ask you a friendship request, but Facebook just now blocks you if you ask for more than 2 or 3. So if you add me as a friend, it will make it easier and less risky for me to have my account blocked because I asked friendships in Facebook. If you do it 1 or 2, it's not a problem. But when you do it for several members at the same time, sometimes my account gets flagged from that. And most likely, I've done most of the friendship requests for the people that are not friends with me. But add me as a friend. I'll be able to send you the replays, the bonus sessions, anything you need. If you have questions, if you think anything you want to share, if you need support around any of the things that we discussed today, I invite you to message me. You can message me by email. You can message me in Facebook. You can tag me. My email is myname@gmail.com. So if any of those ways work, you are able and available. I give you my permission to reach out to me and ask for support, ask questions, request a replay, or whatever the case might be. I'm committed that you get value. I'm committed that you're engaged. I'm committed that you make a difference in your life in the next 3 days. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you today. The materials have been sent by email. I also send it by Messenger, so it should be in Messenger. It shows up like a little, I don't even know how to say it. It's a PDF file. So look through your Messenger. The material should be there. You click on it. You can send it to your email or to your text or whatever you want to do and have it on your phone or print it out if you can, whatever way works. But tomorrow we're going to talk about the conditioned self. And that's one of the framework key things for me when I coach women. So I recommend that you have the material printed and or available as a reference at least. And I will be posting the homework for today. I'm going to acknowledge the people that do the homework, give some prizes and bonus sessions and things like that. So make sure you participate. And this is mostly for your benefit. It's not for me, as I said. So yeah, use me up as a resource. Let me know how I can support you. What difference would you like for me to make in your life? If you allow me, I'm happy to provide value this week. And we'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will post the material in the group, so look for the material homework and post your homework by 6 p.m. tomorrow because we're going to have another prize for tomorrow and the participants that do the homework. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a beautiful night. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.